Hey everybody, I'm JP, the owner of JP Jackson Art. I'm a Baltimore-based studio that produces comic books, animation. I also teach. I'm an educator. And today at BlerDCon, I have three of my books, original stories, The E.V.E of Insurrection, which is a cyberpunk series set in a world where corporations own everything, kind of like today, but they have these underground cities. And my main character, Lana Baker, is a philanthropist by day, and she runs a criminal syndicate by night. She's striking back at corrupt corporations and trying to help other communities. So that's my first book in my universe. And then we have The E.V.E of Reclamation, which is a short horror story that takes place a year before this first book of The E.V.E of Insurrection and follows Lana's journey as her family has been hacked by a racist gang that doesn't believe black people should have limitless energy. And so Lana sends these two operatives into this virtual world to get that data back. And then we have Growing in the Garden, which is a utopia within my comic book series. And you're watching two kids, Gerald and Gaia, grow up in that world and learn different things. So it's a very heavy focus on science, technology, engineering, art, and math. And so, yeah, this is some of my work. Then we have original characters and then some fan art. So I like to kind of do different things and mix it all up.
Okay. So my first question is, since we're here at BlerDCon, how has the attendees responded to your artwork and responded to your books?
Okay. For the most part, a lot of people love my sense of like color. And immediately when I talk about my stories, they have a tendency to be like, oh my God, this sounds like today, or this is like very important, or we need this. So it's been a lot of this good reception of creating this work that's very timely. And some of my work, like I've created, like a lot of these pieces were published, 2021, 2022, 2023. So, we're getting to a point and, where I didn't expect us to be with our politics, so it's good I'm making this work.
That's funny, with our politics.
Yeah.
No, I get it. Where does your inspiration come from?
Okay. So a lot of my work is inspired by 80s, 90s science fiction films. So I'm very big into Blade Runner, Ghost in the Shell, obviously Star Wars, Star Trek, and pretty much after kind of watching all those things and seeing that kind of work, I realized there wasn't enough black people in those spaces. So I felt it was important to show more black people in cyberpunk and science fiction. So the E.V.E of Insurrection takes a lot from like Batman and what could have worked, what Batman could have done a little bit better, and Bruce Wayne could have done better. And then Growing in the Garden takes from Cyber Chase is one of my favorite shows as a kid. A little bit of Dora the Explorer meets Craig of the Creek. So those have been a lot of inspirations for my work right now.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit more about your Horatia self-portrait?
Yes. So I created a series. I started a series of my own kind of like African African powers that were exploring a future or a kind of science fiction reality where like the Orishas existed as like these celestial beings that you can actually go and visit in like a pocket dimension. And I started this series in 2019 of just drawings, and I was able to start off with drawing myself as this Orisha named Chosi, who's kind of permeated all across the African diaspora. But it was very important for me to kind of like depict these celestial Orishas as like real people in a way. And so I kind of chose myself. He kind of spoke to me, and he is the seeker of blind justice. So he has this bow and arrow. So I try to use those themes and motifs on like his tattoos as this like celestial being. And so I also have Boss. So I have another one where I felt it was important to show that god. She's the only Egyptian god that I feature, but I'd like to do more West African for sure.
Okay. So not only you have your own books and you've both written and drawn, illustrated your own books, you have worked with other writers and to help illustrate their novelizations. Can you tell me about your experience working with Ron?
Okay. So to elaborate on like working with Rod and his work, he was actually one of the first people to hire me to make comic books. And so from there, I figured I had like I had something. I was like, all right, I think I can like have a career doing this kind of work. And so it's been really fun being able to work with Black authors and be able to take their work and actually adapt it. So with Rod's situation, when I worked on his series, Ancient Illumination, I was able to read his book and then kind of interpret it and kind of figure out a way to translate it into the graphic novel world. So I really enjoy that sense of collaboration. And so that's what I do with a lot of my clients. So people will hire me. Like this book right here, Journey and the Abolition of Democracy. It is a book that just finished with a writer, activist, and scientist, Lawrence Brown, and he's done amazing work talking about the redlining and the history of redlining in America. And so we were able to take that and bring it into a comic book. And so that was like a really fun experience, be able to take my vision of like what Baltimore could look like in the future and kind of lend that to a story and bring that to life. So it's been a really awesome experience. Always being able to work with Black writers and kind of highlight their stories and bring it to life in a different way.
Okay. What is your favorite part of your creation process?
For me, what I've been enjoying a lot more is working on growing in the garden, because in this book, this is the first time I was able to hire another artist. So my friend Chelsea Arnheimer does like the inking, the character inking. So like every time she sends me pages, I'm just like amazed. I'm like, oh my God, like this looks awesome. Like the characters' emotions, like the kids' emotions, and everything is conveyed so beautifully that like it is not how I draw. So I actually enjoy like to see her style kind of shown in my work, and then me being able to color it and add my flair to it. And it comes together and becomes something new, something beautiful. So yeah.
Okay. What has been your favorite part about your being here at BlerDCon?
Favorite part is being surrounded by a bunch of Black nerds. Be like watching us being liberatory, being liberated, being an aspect of ourselves, because we know when we step out of this space and go out into the world, we're treated a little differently. So being able to just watch people and like experience that joy and that community and everyone supporting each other. So pretty much, yeah.
Okay. For anyone who's interested in looking you up and wanting to buy any of your work or just follow you, where can they find you on the internet?
Okay, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at jpjacksonart, and you can go to my website at jpjacksonart.com.
All right, and one last thing, do you have any advice for anyone who wants to become a comic book illustrator or a writer or just even be their best blurred?
Okay, I have a lot of advice, but I can distill it down to one thing. Take your time with whatever you're making. My career, I've kind of moved too fast and rushed, but it's very important that you like spend your time, spend as much time as you need on a project and really bring it to life. And but also don't get caught up being a perfectionist either. Those two things, like don't be a perfectionist. Like it's okay to make mistakes. The work gets better over time and people can understand that.
Okay. And just between me and you,
okay,
what is your favorite piece that you have on the table? Because like you have a lot of things and like stuff is calling to me, but I want to know from one artist to another, what is your personal favorite?
Growing in the Garden.
Okay. What makes it your personal favorite?
It's when I see it, it responds to the kid in me. So like, and I get to see kids kind of engage with this because I didn't have this when I was a child. So it's just a reminder of like, Jordan, you're making the things that like you didn't have in your life, and you're giving it to other people. So this one, just reading this book always just makes me happy. Like the next book in this series is going to be basically Mega Man. That's all I'm going to say. And I'm really excited for everybody to kind of see this next issue of Growing in the Garden for sure.
All right, cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right.